As old Joe stumbled through the sand over the weekend, that was very disturbing. Did Jill help him? Should she even give her arm? Well, and as Kamala Harris enjoyed some downtime, it was very cute with the fam. The full breadth of Trump's victory is still being unpacked.
Big blue states with very diverse populations. This new coalition that Donald Trump's assembled, he made some giant strides. California, biggest of them all, 29-point Biden win 4 years ago. Currently, only 18 for Harris, her home state. Look at New York. Basically, Trump cutting that Democratic margin in half. Go down this list and look inside those states and you'll see it. Blue-collar areas, cities, metro areas with large Hispanic populations, that's where Trump made his big gains there.
And it's not surprising, right? The Democrats are still licking their wounds. They're still doing their post-mortem. And they're blaming Biden. They're blaming racism. They're blaming staffing. And their favorite catch-all, misinformation. Elon Musk, you know the whole drill. But the answer here is obvious. Trump's record on the economy, on the border, on foreign policy was phenomenal. And all Harris had were cliches. Well, she had Cardi B. That's pretty good. And, of course, they had, he's a fascist. Now, for years, the Angle urged the GOP nominees to adopt a 50-state strategy. I did several angles devoted to this. And Trump did this incredibly smart. Even his political foes are acknowledging it paid off big time.
Trump improved not just his numbers in the battleground, which we were talking about on election night, 3 to 4 points. He also improved in inner cities. He improved in outer suburbs. So it looks like Trump ran the 50-state strategy that the Democrats used to talk about.
Now, Trump hasn't even been sworn into office yet, and we're already seeing the positive impact he's having for America. We all saw the stock market soaring post-election. Bitcoin, it reached an all-time high today, 82,000. Optimism everywhere. Could you feel it in the stores if you were out and about over the weekend? I did. Well, optimistic everywhere, maybe except MSNBC. And the Europeans are actually mulling the idea of buying more American gas in an attempt to avoid Trump's tariffs. That's good. But to really capitalize on the momentum, I think Donald Trump, it's pretty obvious, will need an ambitious and talented staff. And so far, he's off to a great start. New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik as UN ambassador, Lee Zeldin as EPA administrator, goodbye to the regulation stranglehold at the EPA, and Angle faith Stephen Miller as White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, and for America's border security, Tom Homan will be in charge of implementing Trump's tough border policy. But, you know, I was thinking about Homan, and I know he's been on the Angle a lot, but is he too much of a softie?
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is it worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Keep them together in their home country. Now, this is throwing the usual suspects into deep despair, and we should do what we can to send fruit baskets and other sorts of, soothing spa packages to them. But what did any of them expect? Of course Trump was going to put loyalists in positions of power. Joining me now, Vice President of the National Border Patrol Council, Art Del Cueto. Art, now Homan responded to some of the backlash that he's been receiving for telling 60 Minutes they would deport families together. Watch this.
This administration has deported families together. These people demand due process. They demand the right to claim asylum. They demand the right to see a judge. And we give that to them at an exorbitant taxpayer cost. At the end of that due process, if the federal judge says you must go home, they have to go home. If they don't, then what the hell are we doing? Shut down the immigration court. They don't mean anything anymore.
There is a national groundswell of support, Art, to implement deportation across the board. There is a strong majority of Americans who want this done. Your reaction?
No, absolutely. And look, you're going to have the left that's going to attack Tom Homan and, the right and say, hey, you guys are separating families. but people need to realize what is the truth. These individuals that are here illegally, they brought children with them, or they had children in the United States. They're the ones that are getting sent back. They're the ones that would be deported if they don't have an actual case to be here. And in order to keep the family together, they would take their child with them. That's what it comes down to. It ain't deporting them. You know, it's hey, you keep the family together, or they can choose to have, you know, a family member if they think their life is better here, that, you know, it is legal in the U.S., and they can leave the children here. But remember, these same individuals are the ones that handed over their children to smuggling organizations without even knowing who was taking them, where they were going to end up. So when you start looking at a lot of these unaccompanied children, are we going to go back and prosecute these parents that released these kids or that turned them over at the hands of the cartels? Because that's what it comes down to. There was irresponsibility by the parents, and now they want to turn it around and point the finger at the United States and U.S. officials. And I think Tom Homan is going to do a fantastic job. He is an individual that came from boots on the ground. He started from the bottom, worked his way up. It's a fantastic pick.
Now, liberal mayors, not going to surprise you, Art, they're telling Homan that they're ready for a fight on this, but Homan ain't backing down.
If I have to send more agents to a sanctuary city, that's exactly what I'm going to do, because we have a mission. We have a mandate for the American people. They want this fixed, and we're going to fix it with or without mayors and chiefs of police.
Art, your reaction to that?
That's baffling. Honestly, that's baffling. You're talking about leadership in the United States that are supposed to be upholding the law, and they're saying that they're ready for a fight against people that are going to uphold the law so they could back up individuals that have been breaking the law for years. That is just baffling. All those individuals that have that are irresponsible towards America, and frankly, they should be voted out next election cycle as well.
The best back and forth, Art, I've seen, and I think there's so many great moments that Tom Homan's had when he's been confronted by the left. But it's so refreshing when AOC pushed him at one of those hearings and made the point about separating families, because they're always going to go to that to try to stop any enforcement of the law. And so he said, well, how about when we arrest people for, you know, other crimes? Do they not get separated from their children? Americans get separated from their children when they run afoul of the law. That happens every day of the week, thousands of times a day in the United States. And she's like, well, it's not really breaking the law when you come into the country illegal. And, you know, Homan then continued to take her down with that absurd logic.
Laura, they're always going to go back to that. And, you know, I've heard it all many times before. They'll go back to that, or they'll go back to the racial term. They're great at talking about the racial term when realistically, look, I think this election, it proved that we weren't able to convince the Latino and the minorities. We were able to educate them and show them the right way. That's what it comes down to.
Well, I think Latinos across the country, Hispanic voters, they've spoken on this issue as well. Art, thank you so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.